Welcome into a special edition on this Thursday morning of the Jordy Culotta Show, presented by Go Chevrolet, online at GEAUXchevrolet.com. Travel day for LSU football. Travel day for Mr. Fun's travel out to Los Angeles. Looking forward to jumping a flight here this morning. We will be with you here for a short time, get you set up. Ben Mintz is going to be here in a couple of minutes and give us a six-pack of winners to look out for. As college football began last night, there's a big game tonight between Ohio State and Minnesota. We'll get our first look at C.J. Stroud, the redshirt freshman quarterback for Ohio State. Clemson and Georgia are on the docket this weekend. LSU UCLA.
It's here, dude.
At the Rose Bowl. Lloyd had his fantasy draft last night. It is absolutely football
season. Feel like I kind of may have swindled the old fraternity league. They don't know. When you work in the industry like we do.
Yes.
You get a little insider information. You got people that draft with their heart. Somebody went Alvin Kamara 1. I went CMC 2. And that's all I want to say about that. That could be a league winner.
Lincoln Riley is speaking about Kevontae Bradford.
It's just Trey.
Yeah, we'll call him Trey. As Lincoln Riley says they swung and missed on Bradford, so he may be coming back to LSU, a story that we started to follow last week. We will also get you set up for LSU UCLA before we get out of here this morning, as tomorrow Lloyd and the crew will handle a Friday edition in the for the Jordy Culotta Show. We will check in from Los Angeles throughout the weekend. Talk to one of our guys. Ron is heading out to Los Angeles today. He'll be live tweeting the game. He'll be down on the field pre- and post-game. He'll be in Ed Ogeron's post-game press conference, which we will hopefully have live for you on Instagram Live, on our social media channels. So really looking forward to getting out to Los Angeles this weekend. Shout out to Mr. Fun and his crew for setting us up and getting us ready here on this Thursday travel day.
If you're on the field for LSU UCLA, do you snag grass? Would that be a pocket that you would want to?
Ron's age.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
A college student.
I would put
somebody very young, first time, big event, covering it on the road. That's
a huge spot.
That's a big spot. It's a big spot.
I would think that you'd want a little pocket of grass, and you'd probably put it in like a Ziploc or something, to where you may forget about it, but you've always had. I don't know if you can fly back with that. Now that I'm thinking about it, I might think it's something else.
Has anybody seen some of the images? I know that nobody is looking or trying to hand out sympathy in this part of the world, but the images that are coming out of New York City, the flooding, whether it's the U.S. Open, the subways, some of the boroughs are just catastrophically underwater. And I know that we are dealing with our own mess from Hurricane Ida down here in this part of South Louisiana, but we're going to talk to Ben Mintz here in a couple of minutes just to get an idea of some of the landscape there now in New York. I mean, have you seen some of the images coming out?
That's what you were telling me pre-show, and I had to look it up.
Just go to Twitter and hit search New York flooding, and I mean, the images and videos that are out there, see New York City swimming. I mean, the city is underwater.
How much do you think the Barstool office has to be hitting Ben Mintz up left and right? Be like, how do you do this? How do you prepare for anything like this? Because he's the only one that probably feels qualified to even give them advice on something like this, because he's from Louisiana. Well, not from Louisiana, but he lived in Louisiana a majority of his life, and he's dealt with hurricanes before. And this feels like something that hasn't really hit New York in a while. Like, they've had tropical storms, but to be an actual hurricane, I'm sure they're asking for a little hurricane prep.
Gotta be, man. So lots to get to this morning here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Yesterday, if you missed our chat with Nick Underhill, good stuff on the New Orleans Saints. Saints going to take on the Green Bay Packers in Jacksonville this weekend. So their Week 1 matchup versus Green Bay has been moved, as the Saints are set up right now over in New Orleans. I saw some power starting to come back into New Orleans last night. Kelly got an alert last night at about 10 p.m. saying that her energy, her power had been restored down in New Orleans. So it's good to see some of the power coming back on there in the city, which it looked like the nearly 100% of the power was out there for a little bit, but they started to come back throughout yesterday. So hopefully if you're down in the city, you started to regain some sense of normalcy. We're still without power down here in Baton Rouge. I'm not too worried about it. We're hopping on a flight this morning, so hopefully by the time we get back on Sunday, all of that will be restored and right. We are going to be with you on Monday morning. We will be working on Memorial Day as we will obviously be recapping the weekend's events, the big college football games. We will be setting you up for Monday night's games. Who is that? Louisville and Florida State, I believe, play on Monday night. So we will be with you on Monday
college
morning,
football is
and
here,
hopefully, back in the UDL, our regular football guests, our regular weekly football guests. We appreciate you kind of bouncing around with us this week as we've been all over the place. We were in the afternoons on Tuesday. Yesterday we were mid-morning from 10 to noon, and this morning we're hopefully back on schedule here, and tomorrow we'll be back on schedule to see the college football.
Been a nice litmus test to see if we obviously have a good following, which we appreciate that they're willing to stick with us through the whether it be 10 to 12, we could do it from the afternoon, the mid-morning, whatever we have to do. But the 7 to 9 feels right. But it's been nice to know that the people will find us when we're active and mobile and trying to, like we said, give people a little bit of a distraction. And we're in the thick of it now. We're in the teeth of college football with everything that's going on. LSU, UCLA, and it makes me want to ask you, where does this rank on in terms of trips for you?
This is up there, man. This is a big one.
Because you've done it all. Like, not to say that you're maybe blinded by it because you've done it so much and you're in the industry, but this feels like a big bucket list.
This is a different one. This is a different one. I mean, the Lambeau trip a couple of years back was monumental. Just from an individual standpoint, that was something that was really cool to be down there on the field, be a part of the coverage, be up in Green Bay, see LSU play in an NFL stadium like that. This one's totally different from the experience of Lil Jay's going to be there. It's the Rose Bowl. It's something that rarely happens. I know that the Lambeau experience is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, but this feels like very similar when you just talk about the opportunity to go out west, watch LSU play at such an historic and nostalgic venue. You're going to California where, in September where the weather is just perfect, 75 degrees during the day. I mean, I talked to my boy last night, Justin, or 2 nights ago, and he said, man, you better pack something cool, for warm, to stay warm once the sun goes down, because it's going to be a little chilly in the evening. Looking forward to Todd Graves is having a huge throwdown on Saturday, a big tailgate party on Saturday that we'll be at before the game. So just everything from the outside looking in here is really, I can't wait to get there. I really can't. I mean, from my son and him being able to be in the venue, knowing that 30, 40 years from now he'll still be remembering.
He'll be you in the box going, that was me. I was in that game. They look at to get the still photo.
No doubt about it. It reminds me of my first trip to Omaha when 1993. My grandfather and I went to. I believe it was June 11th, 1993, where LSU won the national championship.
So how old were you?
I was 11 years old.
11? And Jay is?
He's 10.
Yeah, I mean, so it's right the
he turns 11 in January.
Yes.
So, I mean, it just – and just from where he is on his on his sporting life.
His sport decathlon, where he is getting up there to
his
where –
ascension.
Yes, this is it. This is when you start remembering things, like, vividly. This is when you have those memories of – like, you can say time, date, like you said, you can do time, date, place, where I was there, what happened. And that's what, I mean, hopefully LSU can get a dub, because that's what you would want to be. You don't want to remember, like, the Wisconsin LSU game. That's kind of was, it felt like a little bit of a dud. You don't want, that's not the memory you want. You want to be able to say you went to Pasadena, went to the Rose Bowl, and you got to see LSU wipe 38-17 or something like that and have the probably one of the best memories of your life.
Yeah, it was great, man, and I am looking forward to this one, just like that. I'm calling Mintzy real quick. We're gonna get set up with Mintz. We're gonna get a 6-pack of winners from Mintz. Yeah, Mintzy, how we feeling, buddy?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I didn't know if you wanted that on air.
Benjamin, good morning. How are you? We're live. Good to talk to you. Benny.
Yeah, I'm here.
Bro, the images coming out of New York City. I know right now it's tough for anybody to have sympathy in South Louisiana, for anybody dealing with weather issues, but I'm looking at New York City, and it looks like the entire town is underwater. I mean, the subway system, the U.S. Open, boroughs. What is life like right now in Manhattan?
Well, what's interesting is, I mean, I knew it was crazy. It was pouring yesterday when I left work. I got soaked, headed home from work. And then I got a couple texts last night, like, if you looked outside, and I did, and I was like, man, this is wild. Man, but I didn't realize I got up earlier to get my day going, and, man, my whole backyard completely flooded. My street, I mean, I'm trapped in. I literally, I'd have to wade through 3 or 4 feet of water just to get off my street to get to work. Stephen Shea, who I do the Fantasy Football Factory pod, his basement's flooded. His house is all messed up. We were supposed to record today. Man, today, Ida's something, man. I mean, good gosh, she tears up Louisiana, still in a fighting mood, getting up here to New York, New Jersey. It's one of the craziest storms we've ever seen. And, you know, I don't know. It's just wild. I'm kind of processing it all. I was supposed to have a pretty big day planned. I guess I'm going to sit home and write a bunch of blogs for Barstool Sports today, boys.
Yeah, buddy. It looks like you're a little immobile because, I mean, I'm just looking at some of the images that are coming out of your city right now. And, I mean, it is chest deep on streets of water. I mean, the subway system is totally drowning right now in New York City. What can I know that you're just kind of in your own area, but obviously people freak out in this part of the world when you're dealing with hurricanes and natural disasters. What is that part of the world like when you rarely see this? I know they had a hurricane come through a couple of years ago, so they're not, it's not foreign to them, but can you judge the chaotic nature of what this weather is bringing to New York City right now?
Well, we had a dud hurricane a couple of weeks ago that didn't do anything. As far as right now, I mean, honestly, Jordy, I'm kind of just waking up to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw bad reports last night, but, I mean, I don't expect any sympathy from the great people of South Louisiana, that's for sure, as you mentioned. But I don't know, man. It just seems like it's chaos. I'm kind of processing it all, but, you know, as far as I guess my day goes, I mean, I think I'm just working. I guess I'm just working from home. I don't know. I feel like people are freaking out. I'm real curious to see what Ole Miss Portnoy has to say about all this. I'm sure he'll have some thoughts.
Yes, it will be. We will be.
I wonder if you're going to get any blame for this.
We'll be locked in on Barstool all
Hurricane
day.
Ben.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I should it'd be hilarious if I did a video of me wading through this 4 feet water to try to get to work, anything for the company, you know. But I
think
don't know.
you should do some type of Canatory scene where you should throw a helmet on, put you a rain jacket on, some boots, and get out there and start wading through it and produce some Mintzy, college football season has started. Have you felt that?
Yeah, so I wanted to say this to you, and man, I'm a big, I always get kind of sentimental, nostalgic. And I mean, year 5 of the six-pack here, Jordy. Crazy, man.
Unbelievable.
Year 5, and I just remember when this started in 2017, and I mean, I guess in year 2 of mixing it up with Mintz in Bossier City, and I remember the time I came down there. And the first time I was ever in studio was when I called that game when I got slapped in the pit at Santa Mom. Right. Yeah, I remember that was the first time I ever went in studio with y'all. And I mean, it's just crazy. I like I said, I'm a sentimental guy, and I try to always do the hashtag journey to the past. And it's just, I mean, what a journey, man! It blows me away.
It is. It is crazy to think about where this relationship has started and where it is now, and where we are talking to each other from this undisclosed location studio for the Jordy Culotta Show to Barstool Sports up in New York City. It's been wild to see how this thing has evolved over the last 5 years, but it's a great segment and a great radio or entertainment segment for the people. So we are looking forward to it again here this season. There's good games tonight, Ben. I mean, we'll see Tennessee and Bowling Green.
Boise UCF, super interesting. The Gus Malzahn era starting in Orlando, Florida, at the Bounce House. And Ohio State, Minnesota, you know, there's a lot to say about these point spreads and stuff this week. This Ohio State Minnesota one looks real weird to me. I don't think I can back Minnesota, but I feel like this will probably be a close game early, and Ohio State might blow them out in the second half. but it just looks like such a public, everybody's going to take Ohio State laying points on the road. Those Thursday night road games are always, those things are always kind of upset trap magnets, historically. So I think I'm just going to sit back and watch that one. I'm leaning. This isn't for the six-pack. My six-pack are all Saturday, but I am looking at taking UCF tonight, playing 5-0 against Boise. I think it's a long trip for Boise, and I kind of think they're on the way down. And Dylan Gabriel for Central Florida is a phenomenal quarterback. He's more of a pocket passer, though, and we've never really seen Malzahn do well with pocket passers. He's always he had to do well with the running QBs, but I still think that's a long way to go for Boise. I kind of felt like Boise's been on the – I know that Harsin got hired by Auburn, but, they've still been winning, but they're not near what they were. I don't know. I mean, I know they still are like a 9-3 type team, but I'm not – I feel like, the Boise coach last year, I don't know. I've got a lot of questions for Harsin.
You feel like you're in the brain of Ben Mintz right now where he's trying to decide his picks. Like, he's not exactly solid on anything right now. Like, he's still matriculating everything. I can feel you going back and forth. So I can feel the gambling brain moving.
I'm solid on my six for this weekend. I did a bunch of research Tuesday night. This is this doesn't take a rocket scientist to know how big of a football season this is for me. With us launching the app and then sports betting coming to Louisiana. I don't know if y'all are following, man. Y'all make sure you check out the Barstool Pick'em today with Dave and Dan and Rico. The first hour and 20 minutes of it are Rico's contract negotiation with Dave Portnoy. And Dan, Big Cat's Rico's agent, is the intermediary. And it is the funniest thing I have ever seen in my entire life. But it's gotten me anxious. Mine's is coming up in like a month or 6 weeks. And after seeing that, I was like, man, I don't know what the hell is going to happen.
Would you hire Dan as an agent? Does it work out that way?
I don't think I'm quite a year in. Rico's been here for 3 presidencies, so I'm not
he's
sure
quit and come back three times.
Yeah, I can't say that, but I'm telling y'all, this is just unreal. I watched it. They released it late last night, and to show you the reach of Barstool Sports, there were 21,000 people watching Dave and Rico argue about his contract live last night. That's just insane.
No, you have Barstool. When I say you, I'm speaking of Barstool, has the sports and entertainment world just captivated
by
right
the balls.
now. They got him by the balls for sure. Mincy, where are we starting? Before we get going, Charles Bowden asks, hashtag Ask Mincy, is Brandon Walker blinded by his hate for LSU on his UCLA pick?
Yeah, so Brandon, I'm actually funny you mentioned that. One of the 4 or 5 blogs that maybe get written today, I'm not going to be able to get me off. I've got one that's why Brandon Walker is wrong about LSU football coming out. And there's a million reasons on this, but I know you can't use COVID as an excuse because everybody had to deal with it. But last year, literally everything went wrong for LSU. You went into, you had the dream season. I feel like having that year before COVID and everything that went with it, a little bit of winter's tilt, I felt like motivation was probably lacking. And then obviously, just the Scott Linehan and Pelini hires just sunk the ship. Yeah. I don't know how you could have made, this isn't 2002 or whatever. Those are 2 of the worst coordinator hires of all time. But luckily, he built up the goodwill. We'll see if he got it right with Pete and Durante. I feel good about Pete in the offense. Durante Jones is still kind of a great unknown to me, but he damn sure ain't gonna be worse than Bo Pelini. Right. I'm quite sure of that. I know the players like him. It just seems like the attitude's a lot better. And the Max Johnson thing. I really like what I saw down the stretch from Florida and Ole Miss, and I think he's going to be good. And Rick and Brandon and I were arguing. He's like, LSU has 127 pass defense. Even if they improved to 65th, it's like, Brandon, they got the best cornerback combo in college football by far. And Rick Stingley, they might have the top 2 corners. I was like, they're going to improve so much. You have no idea, how much they're going to improve. They got their whole D-line back. I don't know. I feel good about LSU. The thing is about LSU this week is just the hurricane stuff. I've been on LSU the whole offseason, and this line opened at 4.5. Now it's down to 3. We'll go ahead and say it. LSU -3, first one in 6-pack. I'm taking LSU. All of a sudden, I said this. I said, hopefully UCLA kills Hawaii and everybody jumps the gun on UCLA. Hawaii couldn't tackle me.
Yeah.
Did y'all watch that last week?
I said it was a 3A high school football team out of Louisiana. I mean, from the size,
but at least
speed.
they have better fundamentals.
Yeah.
I mean, so I just think they're overrating this Hawaii thing. The only thing I worry about with LSU, I know they're in Houston practicing, and, they're saying all the right things, but y'all know how this hurricane stuff is when people are having trouble getting hold of their family and friends and stuff. That kind of anxiety and uncertainty is certainly a lot to deal with. And so that's my one reservation on it. But when it went to 3, I was like, screw it, I'm going to lose. So we're taking LSU.
Mintzy, is there any stock to buying it down to 2.5? Does that 3 number scare you if you were actually
The problem is they make it to where when it's around 3, you get it from 3 to 2.5 or 3 to 3.5, you get to pay $1.35 juice. And man, I don't care how good a gambler you are, if you pay 35% big, you ain't gonna beat it. So you just got to take it to the face there.
Okay, I'm a terrible gambler.
Second pick of the 6-pack. Where are we going, Mintzy?
Man, we're gonna keep it with the Louisiana boys. Let's talk about them Ravaging Cajuns heading over to Austin.
I love it. I love this play.
Getting 8.5, and you just look. A few things here. I think Sarkisian's actually going to be a good hire for Texas. I know a lot of people are hating on his past. I believe in the sobriety thing for him. I really do. I think he's turned it around in the Alabama rehab program. But he could end up being a good coach and year one still be a struggle. He ain't Sam Ehlinger. Like, say what you will. I mean, he was a leader, and I liked him. They got a new quarterback. They're turning over so much in that program. UL's got 20 returning starters. We saw what they did at Iowa State last year, week 1. We've seen Texas drop back-to-back week 1 games to Maryland a couple years ago. The thing is, ULL ain't scared of that longhorn on their helmet. I can dang sure tell you that. And getting 8.5 in a game that I feel like could go either way. And another gambling thing to watch out for this year. This is kind of something we talked about the last few days. These top G5 teams could be even tougher this year because everybody got the extra year after COVID. And so these teams all got 18, 19, 20 returning starters because they got a lot of guys that aren't going to make the NFL that came back. And, I think ULL's experience and Napier and taking 8.5 here. I feel pretty good about it, too.
Is a money line play in?
It's only plus 260, which I don't think is quite great. So I think I'm just going to take – I may toss it. I'm going to do a Mintzy bomb, like long shot money line parlay every week. I put Lafayette in. But that's probably, I thought plus 260 wasn't like anything too. If it was higher, over 300, I looked at it more. In Texas, has got to go to Arkansas next week, too, man. They have a really tricky schedule open.
LSU, UL, money line parlay, Louisiana bet of the week. What are we thinking here? Can we do that?
Yeah, oh man, we'll see. I mean, I've heard worse ideas, but we got next up. We're just going to the Homer one here. Definitely taking Ole Miss by 10.5 Monday night. We're going to kick crap out of Louisville. Louisville's bad. Their defense sucks. Malik Cunningham's athletic. He can run. Their quarterback can throw deep balls, but he still can't take care of the football. I think Ole Miss can force a couple turnovers. And this game being on a fast track in Atlanta, I think good for Ole Miss. With the hyper speed they go at offense, all speed. And, I'm always hesitant about laying 10.5, but this over-under 75.5 in this game. I don't like laying 10 if the over-under is 45 or 50 and close scoring, but man, points are going to be, it ain't going to be hard to score in this game. So I think Ole Miss like 49-27, something like that.
Mintzy, give me one name to watch filling in the shoes. I know they can't get the production that Elijah Moore gave them the last couple of seasons, but who is going to be Corral's top target going in to this season?
It's going to be one of those things where 4 or 5 guys try to replace them, but I like Braylon Sanders. Jonathan Mingo is the one who looks kind of like A.J. Brown there in the number 1, but he's been inconsistent. They're saying all the right things about him. But they got a Western Kentucky slot receiver transfer that should be pretty good. But I think it's one of those things where it's going to be just 4 or 5 guys. Drummond's back too, I think. And I think they're going to be throwing to 4 or 5 guys. The thing with Ole Miss is the running back. So this is the best running back room they've ever had with Jerry and Ely and Snoop Connor and Henry Parrish. And so I feel really good about that too. So I think it's one of those things where you can't really replace Elijah Moore, but you got 3 or 4 guys that are solid. They're just going to spread it out. O-line looks good too, which I'm excited about.
4th pick of the weekend.
All right, we got the totals. No surprise there. I like to bet the first half under in college football, but like for the sake of the segment, I'm going to do the full game because that's. I mean, I don't know. I'll actually let Jordy rule on that.
No. I want your plays.
Hey,
Whatever your
get
play
into the
is.
teeth of it. Get into the teeth of
Well,
it.
they're out there. All right, first half under. The first half under theory. I'll explain it real quick. So college football, so often you see games start out low scoring and then the depth wears out in the second half because the games are 4.5 hours. The teams run 80, 90 plays, and unless you're LSU or Bama, you know, these G5 teams don't have the depth to stand it. So when I bet unders, I bet the first half unders because I don't like it going to the second half when anything can happen. Here's the ones I'm looking at. Under 26.5 first half Rice, Arkansas. Rice actually has a top 4 defense. They huddle. They can't do anything on offense. We saw Arkansas last year. They had a good defense and a bad offense. I don't know what to think about KJ Jefferson as opposed to starting. So I'm going under 26.5 first half there. The other ones I was looking at, I got under first half on, I think it's 26.5 or 27, Stanford, Kansas State. Who the hell said let's put Stanford, Kansas State as a kickoff game in Dallas? Who's going to go to that?
Oof.
That is disgusting.
Like, what's like, hey, man, Jerry Jones is like, man, I can't wait to Stanford, Kansas State here. I'm lost on that one. But I don't think either team has any playmakers, especially wide receiver. And, you know, I just can't see a shootout between Kansas State and Stanford. I think both, you know, they're both teams that like to slug it out on scrimmage. So I've got under there.
Mintzy, is this still play 4? Or is this
this is play 5?
Okay, so
we did 3. We did LSU, UCLA Lafayette, Ole Miss is the 3 games against the spread. Then we did the
Rice,
the under
Arkansas.
Rice.
Yep.
Is the first half one. We're gonna do under Stanford K State in the first half of the second, and the final one. I'll tell you the truth. I've been between 2, juggling back and forth. And we're going to go over 50.5 in Georgia Clemson. I know that's crazy for me to bet an over week 1. I know both teams have some injury issues. But I think the DJ Uyunglele party is about to start, guys.
Yeah.
I think pretty hard to believe you lose the number 1 pick and you might have as good or a better quarterback next year. But that's where Clemson's sitting. I love this kid. Clemson also this year. Watch out for their defensive line this year. It's not quite as good as the one that had 4 first-round picks in 18, but it's close. Their D-line's ferocious. But I just think JT Daniels and DJ Uiagalelei, too good a quarterback for that low a total. So we'll see. So I'm going over 50.5. That's my 6th one. The one that barely missed was the first. I was looking at the first half under in Penn State, Wisconsin, which I think that's going to be a Big Ten slugfest. So that's honorable mention. So to recap it, LSU by 3, UCLA Lafayette, or UL, I always get confused what I'm supposed to call them. I got killed on Lafayette radio saying ULL the other day. But anyway, LSU, ULL, Ole Miss, first half under Rice, Arkansas, first half under Stanford, Kansas State, and we'll do over Georgia Clemson, and the final one at 50.5. And like I said, if you're looking for a 7th, if I had to do a 7th, it would be the first half under Penn State, Wisconsin. But what a board we got for week 1. What a great
It is a beautiful board. That is what they call small penis syndrome down in Lafayette from suffering from the UL Lafayette to the Lafayette.
Louisiana, they're trying to rebrand all the time.
Freak out over University of Louisiana Lafayette and ULL. Just call them USL. That really gets them going.
I don't know, man. But hey, whatever you want to call them, they got a pretty dang good.
They got a squad.
Yes, they do. They got a great coach, Mintzy.
They do, and they turned down Mississippi State and Auburn to stay in Lafayette. That's still the damnedest thing I've ever heard.
Turned down Auburn because the smoke behind the scene was that Auburn officials were telling him who he had to hire from an assistant coaching standpoint. He told him he wasn't going to fly like that. And then Mississippi State and also South Carolina interviewed him.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's a wild world where you know, guy turns down 3 SEC jobs essentially to stay in Lafayette. But he's got a good thing going.
Mintzy, our first 6-pack, we're looking forward to seeing the weekend. How would you take in college football this weekend? What are your plans? Are you going to be live streaming
Saturday,
how you watch?
We've got the game, so I'll be on the stream. We're doing the Barstool live streams. Funny thing about this new Hoboken, New Jersey life, we got a new gambling house in Hoboken because we just went live in Jersey, and it's like a 5-minute walk from my place. So going to be pretty nice all football season. You're going to be seeing me on those streams all the time on Saturdays and Sundays. The Mintz plan tonight, I'm going to just chill up. I can't leave my house today. I mean, I'm going to sit here tonight, I guess. But but Saturday, I'm going to be on the streams. Sunday, Florida State, Notre Dame, Sunday night. As long as the weather holds up, we're going to try to have our, y'all have been laughing about the concert run I've been on. I'm going to sneak on the old train up to Hartford, catch one more Dead show Sunday night. And then Monday night, get ready for Ole Miss and Louisville. It's that big weekend. Pumped.
Beautiful, bro. We'll be out in L.A. taking in UCLA and LSU.
Oh, good. Y'all are going? Heck yeah.
We're flying out this morning at 10:30.
All right. We'll look forward to following and have fun out in L.A. I expect an LSU home game. That's what I saw from the UCLA fans.
Did you see that crowd, Mintzy? UCLA, Hawaii? It was nuts. There was nobody there. They're trying to bring high school kids in for the LSU game.
I hope LSU comes out and beats them by 30. I mean, I'm just telling you, I've been going at it. Everybody's on UCLA up here. It's ridiculous, dude.
Oh, I love that.
I love that.
I know. Just no respect for LSU. And, I don't know. The Walker thing is funny, but I don't get it. But we'll see, man. Don't discount the voice of fight.
Do you think that because you're in New York, do you think that's like almost the national sentiment is that it is UCLA over LSU? Is that like the consensus pick?
Yeah, well, I think so much is just this public just loves what they saw last. I mean, I said it before. I was like, if UCLA kills Hawaii, everybody in the world can just jump on UCLA. And that's exactly what's happened. And also, funny LSU note, 10-year anniversary of the Honey Badger breakout against Chip Kelly's Oregon here in the opener. Pretty wild how that's kind of full circle there.
Have him on the sidelines.
What a moment that was. For LSU. That was an arrival of that 2011 team that they announced in Dallas Cowboys Stadium that night. Mintzy, have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay dry.
That was, I didn't let me go. The last thing, that was actually one of my biggest bets I've ever made was LSU and Oregon because it was when it came out that Jefferson was suspended. The line moved from LSU by like 2 or 3 to Oregon by 3 over the Jefferson to Jet Lee thing, and I just went nuts. I was like, I love LSU in this game for every reason but the quarterback. I was like, this is the biggest overreaction I've ever seen. And, I remember I fired him. I think I had 500 on LSU. That was a big one.
Go get them, bro. Good luck this weekend. We'll holler at you.
Have a safe trip to L.A. Thanks for having me on, and look forward to another exciting season on here. Thank y'all for having me.
Yes, sir. There's Ben Mintz checking in this morning from New York City. A wet New York City underwater right now. If you've seen some of the images that are coming out on Twitter, it is amazing to see the amount of water that New York City is taking on from Hurricane Ida right now. There are some areas of Manhattan that there is chest-deep water in the street. I mean, look at some of these people getting off of the subway to floodwaters. I mean, it is just surreal to see some of the images in flooding in New York City. Daily, we were brought to you by Cajun Ready Mix Concrete, new sponsor here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Welcome aboard to Ryan Heck, Bradley Cairo, Stephen Cheatham, and the crew over at Cajun Ready Mix. Cajun Ready Mix provides ready mix concrete products and services to meet all of your concrete needs. They're online at CajunRMC.com. They can help you out with residential, commercial, industrial, municipal projects that you have. Get in touch with them right now over at Cajun Ready Mix, CajunRMC.com. CajunRMC.com is where you can find them online. Over at Cajun Ready Mix, they strive to be the premier provider of quality concrete. They have experienced professionalism to assist you in the commercial space, the industrial space, residential concrete needs. Look them up online at CajunRMC.com. Good to be with you here on this Thursday morning. It's a travel day for LSU. Tigers going to head out to Pasadena to Los Angeles this afternoon after their practice over in Houston today. LSU seems to be pretty healthy heading into the trip. Malik Neighbors, who we told you about yesterday, Ed Ogeron was on his weekly SEC teleconference and was speaking about the health status of his team. He mentioned that Ty Davis-Price, John Emery, Derek Stingley Jr., Eli Ricks, all of those guys were going to be greenlit and ready to go. He did mention that Malik Neighbors is going to miss an extended amount of time as he will miss the next couple of weeks dealing with a shoulder injury that he sustained during preseason camp. So You will be without one of your star-studded receivers. You hate that for Malik Neighbors because by all accounts he had a tremendous fall camp and was expecting to get some time here early on in his freshman season. Did you see the picture of Eli Ricks that came out yesterday on Derek Stingley's social media? Stingley put out a picture yesterday of him and Eli Ricks where it looks like they're either walking to or from the practice field. It looks like they're sharing a conversation. But one thing that jumps out is that Eli Ricks has put on a massive amount of muscle in the offseason. I mean, he has gone from looking like a high school player to a veteran college football player. It is a great testimony to Tommy Moffitt and the strength staff, probably to the nutrition center and Chef Michael Johnson over there for working hand in hand together to putting on just impressive weight.
Pounds on Eli, because when he came in last year, I mean, and he was obviously a great player for LSU as soon as he stepped on the field. He was a 5-star guy at a Mater Day, then went to IMG Academy. He did the absolute, the pantheon of what you think a 5-star cornerback does now in football. But for him to put on that amount of weight and look that good, and by all accounts, I imagine he's carrying it well, is unbelievable. This is, people always love to throw a little shade at Tommy Moffitt every now and again whenever they think of, he's not the new age strength and conditioning coordinator.
He's lost his edge.
He's lost his edge. He doesn't want to do, he doesn't have, it's a young man's game, essentially. And, dude, look at what he's put out with Eli Ricks. And everybody, when you talk about Savion Smith, the defensive ends, the people that he's been able, this nutrition center has almost changed the game for LSU because when you think about who they get in and they get some small time, they get guys from smaller schools that aren't exactly, prepared for what college football brings to you. They don't have not everybody's an Eli Ricks where they go through a Mater Day and an IMG Academy where everything is built for you to succeed. When they get these smaller time guys and they put the pounds on, you can see the kind of athletes that Louisiana breeds and has on campus. And then when you put them in a nutrition facility with the weight program, these guys explode.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's incredible to see the transformation that they make. I mean, in this picture right here, he looks bigger than Stingley. I mean, his shoulder pads are higher than Stingley's. He looks wider than Stingley almost to a degree. And Stingley he's an NFL-ready cornerback physically. I would say
Stingley's the most put-together person on the team, and Ricks, it looks like he's dwarfing him almost. This is unbelievable. And I would say it goes to show that this guy's where you throw it.
Yeah,
they have to go.
I'm more intrigued or most intrigued about these two guys playing on the same field than I am just about any other storyline for LSU.
Because I don't think you got to see it last year.
No, you
didn't get the full diagnosis of what these two can do together when both healthy. And now Ricks has exploded and put on 15 pounds. It looks like, brother, this LSU cornerback room.
Oh,
the defense,
best in the country.
And you have
best in the country.
You bring in Durante Jones, who is a secondary guru. You have Corey Raymond. This could be a nightmare for offenses across the country because these two guys are going to lock you down if they stay healthy.
No, I can't wait to watch these two guys play.
I don't know why this picture is doing it for me, but Jesus, they're going to the progression that they've made together has been unbelievable, and to have them both, I think people get lost in the fact that just Stingley wasn't right last year. He just wasn't healthy, and the defense was terrible. There's just no two bones about it. The defense wasn't good. There's nothing you can do about it now. But to have a fully healthy Stingley, to have an Eli Ricks in year 2 off of an unbelievable freshman season, to have the back end the way it looks with, you have a Sage Ryan coming in, you have Cordell Flott that's still there. This secondary is going to be unreal. And I think the capstone of it all is having Durante Jones, who is, all intents and purposes, he's a secondary guy. So this is where the emphasis has been put on all year.
Paul Borgias.
And
sorry about that.
That's okay. And I think they could pop, man.
All good. Hold tight. You're good. No, I'm with you. I can't wait to watch those two play. And Keem says, pipe down. He's nowhere near Stingley. I would say, Keem, turn on his freshman film if you're talking about just his play. And physically, look at the picture. I'm not sure what you're referring to that he's nowhere close to Stingley. But, I mean, he was the best freshman cornerback in America. 2 years ago, Stingley was the best freshman cornerback in college football, maybe the best cornerback in college football. I do believe that they operate within the same realm. I'm not comparing them as far as, look, who's better, who does things, a tad. But as far as comps go, they are two of the most dominant cornerbacks individually in college football. If you're just looking at them one-on-one. I mean, Stingley's freshman year, Rick's freshman year speak for itself. Stingley had an outlying sophomore season where he just couldn't get right. If those two guys are on the same page, it's scary to think about how good they could be. Let's go down to Thibodaux, Louisiana. It has been a trying time, obviously, for South Louisiana. Some areas harder hit than others, including the Thibodaux-Houma area, which was just smashed by Hurricane Ida. As we said earlier this week, the most beautiful part about our state is the people, the resiliency, and a lot of that resides in that area. And Chef Jean-Paul Bourgeois, who is a weekly guest with us, is, of course, from there. He has been down there through the storm. If you followed him on social media, you've seen some of the things that he has been going through, and some of the people of that area have been going through. And it is just gut-wrenching to think about what life will be like for the next couple of weeks, months ahead as the rebuilding process begins. But it's something that Louisiana is accustomed to. I don't know if the chef has seen being that he's so captivated what's going on in South Louisiana and dealing with all the stuff here. But even his old home, New York City, is now suffering from mass flooding, dealing with Hurricane Ida or Tropical Storm Ida as it made landfall up there in the Northeast. We talked to the chef for the first time since Hurricane Ida has come through. Glad to hear that you were safe. Sorry for the devastation. It's good to have you back on. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Currently, I am in line at Walmart, and I've been here for since 6 in the morning just to get a little gas in my car so I can make it out west and to help fill out tanks for my dad and so on and so forth. It's been an incredible week, and not the incredible that you love, you know.
Can you take me to Sunday evening and give us your experience of Ida?
So we were lucky to be in a house in Houma with really great hurricane-proof glass. I mean, we didn't even need shutters or board up because the glass was that really good hurricane-proof stuff. And we had a generator which ultimately failed because of the natural gas being cut off to Terrebonne Parish. But one thing that was good about having those windows is they were all around the whole building, the whole room that we were in, the entire house we were in. And so we can see the storm from all sides roll in and what it was doing to, different houses in the distance, if we could see that far from all the rain, but all the trees in the yard and so on. We just really kind of almost had like an immersive experience with it. Usually, if you ride out hurricanes, you're shuttered in, you're boarded up, and so you can't see, and it's really dark, and you can maybe peek out of a door and so on. But we had kind of this experience where we could see everything going on around us. And to see the power of Mother Nature is always incredible, and it never ceases to amaze you, even if you've seen it before. They say this storm was a once in a lifetime, and it was, one of the worst on records. And I believe that from being in the middle of it. And you think that, looking back, Andrew couldn't be worse or Katrina couldn't be worse. And they had their worst, Andrew hit Florida and Louisiana. Yeah. So, every storm is different, but I can tell you, and it never gets old. No matter, I would guess if it's 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever, this was by far the worst hurricane that I've ever ridden out. And then just to see the devastation in real time was really like, I had some moments where those gusts came through and those trees arced over, and you just like take your breath away. Mm-hmm. Like you just got dunked in ice cold water. Like you just kind of gasp for air when you see it. And, hold 1 second. Yep. Yes, sir. Okay. 1 second.
Do you need to, do you want us to call you back in a little bit?
My father. Okay.
Do you want us to call you
my
back?
No.
Okay.
So on the way to get gas, we divided and conquered. And my
Nice.
dad went to one station. I went to the Walmart. My dad gets in a wreck. It's 5:30 in the morning. He's 80 years old. He turns into what he thought was the driveway. It ends up being a ditch.
No.
Right. A guy pulls him out. Like an hour later, pulls him out. I'm still in line at Walmart. My mom and his friend are taking care of him. And so I got him. He finally got out the ditch. His car is fine. It's drivable, but he has literally, like, I don't know. He's on empty in his truck, and he's got 7 gas cans in the back, and which is trying to fill up for other people, mind you.
Sure.
And so I told him, just come in the parking lot. I'm going to tell the people behind me what happened, and just cut in front of me, because everybody's been waiting for 2 hours in this line. And so, anyways, the guy at Walmart just asked me if he cut the line. I was like, look, that's my dad. He got in a wreck. He goes, say no more.
Yeah.
Tell your pops to go through. And I said, all right. So here we are. I'm about to get to the coveted gas pump and in Thibodaux, Louisiana. And it is a mad dash from 5 in the morning to till they run out of gas to fill up tanks for generators and for cars and whatever else, for people in need, for themselves. It's kind of an incredible sight, and one that I hope I never see again, to be honest.
Chef, you're from the area. You were South Louisiana, prideful and true to the area. What do you envision the road back for your part of the world? How far is the setback?
And it's hard to say right now. I don't think anybody's anticipating getting like city power back anytime soon. Those who are lucky enough to have natural gas generators doesn't seem to be cut off, so that's good. But as far as the gas situation goes and I mean, it's hot out here in Louisiana, and if you run out of gas, you run out of heat, you run out of food. Okay. You run out of food, you run out of refrigerator. So many things happen because of that. So there needs to be a better gas supply and thank you so much. Sorry, one second, guys. Just 1 second.
You're good.
Because I'm going to need to back in.
We are talking to Chef Jean-Paul Bourgeois, as he is down in Thibodaux right now. Been waiting in a gas line since 5 o'clock this morning. He and his dad were running and getting out there this morning. His dad was in an automobile accident, which he is okay and fine. And now he's at the gas pump alongside the chef as they try and get right here for at least the gasoline storage updated for him and his crew down in Thibodaux, Louisiana, which was absolutely rocked by Hurricane Ida. We've talked about it throughout this week, just the resiliency of the Louisiana people, and a lot of that is coming out of that part of the world, of the stories and the good people. Chef, last one, I'm going to get you out of here. I know you got a lot of stuff. Food. People in Baton Rouge are still looking for hot meals, dealing with no power. You guys are dealing with so much more devastation. And, of course, a lot of people, when they look at you, they think chef, they think food, they think cook. What is that like right now?
Use what's in your freezers and, be grateful for what you have and be grateful for the people that are around you, hopefully sharing that meal with you. And if you can extend that to a neighbor that's in need or somebody else that's in need. I know Operation Barbecue Relief out of Kansas City is doing some great work around different areas of the state, feeding first responders and stuff like that. And, they've done good stuff in disaster zones for years. And so I'm at the gas pump right now and I got to help my dad. What I would tell everybody that's listening to South Louisiana and on, just keep those good vibes, all those prayers coming. The people here need it. As bad as all the stuff that happened and at my folks' house was, it was nothing compared to a lot of other people. And, in a lot of ways we were blessed to be spared in certain ways, but there are many people that have been less fortunate than us. So, when it comes to food, when it comes to donations, when it comes to fuel, when it comes to anything, just whatever you can spare, find a good place to donate it to, find somebody in need that needs it, because it's one of those times in history that there's always somebody in the worst position than you are. So, that's just the fact of it right now. So I got to go, guys, and get this gas. And I don't want to hold up the line anymore. So
God bless you, Chef. Stay safe. We'll be in touch.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Yes, sir. We'll see you. There was Chef Jean-Paul Bourgeois checking in for his weekly hit here on the Jordy Culotta Show. If you haven't seen any of the images, which I'm sure you have by now, that have come out from Thibodaux, Houma, that area of our state, absolutely devastated and devastating aftermath of Hurricane Ida. And Chef Jean-Paul Bourgeois down there has been waiting in line for gasoline since 5 o'clock this morning and talking about just some of the effects that are still and will be in place from Hurricane Ida for the near future. We're brought to you daily by AdvantaClean. If you are dealing with water, fire, or mold damage, which right now, obviously, is very prominent in our state, not just exclusive to the Baton Rouge area. If you're listening to this and you're down in Houma, you're down in Thibodaux, you're over in New Orleans, you're even deeper south here in Louisiana and need some help with water, fire, or mold damage, AdvantaClean needs to be one of your first calls. Get in touch with Bradley Lynch and AdvantaClean online at AdvantaClean.com. Excuse me. And his phone number is 225-369-5228. That is his cell phone number. That will take you directly to his hip, which he's got it on all day, all night. You can text him. You can call him. It's 225-369-5228. AdvantaClean. They're over here in Industrialplex in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Moisture control services, sanitizing services, mold removal and remediation, water damage and cleanup, fire damage and cleanup. You get the drift. Anything that a lot of our state is dealing with right now, AdvantaClean, that is their specialty. Let them help you out for a healthy home and business. Get in touch with AdvantaClean. ADVANTA clean.com. AdvantaClean.com is where you find them online. Thank you for everybody who has been interacting and been with us here in the first hour. Give me 2 minutes to reset, then we'll come back for about a 15-minute segment before we get out of here. It's a travel day for us. We got some stuff going on here this morning before we get on the plane that we got to take care of, so we want to make sure that we got enough time to do that. I do want to thank everybody out there for finding us this week. I know that we strive each day to be in the same time slot, on the same platforms, because we want to begin to build habits for you, the listener. You know where to find us, right? You'll know where to see us on YouTube. You'll know where to find us on JordyCulottaShow.com. You'll know where to get to us on Facebook if that's where you'd like to watch us. But we haven't been in that regular time slot this week, and you have found us outside of 7 to 9 a.m., whether it was on Tuesday in the afternoons from 3 to 5, or yesterday on Wednesday we did from 10 a.m. to around 12:30 in the afternoon, and then today we're back here in the regular time slot between 7 and 9. But all of you have found us, and we very much appreciate that. Obviously, we were talking very trivial topics when we're talking about sports and matchups and everything that's happening, dealing with what people are dealing with outside of normal life. And we don't want to lose perspective on that, but we also want to provide a getaway and a diversion for you for just a short amount of time to take your mind away from no power or structural damage on your office or home, or kids not even being in school. I know is a headache for a lot of people who are trying to juggle jobs and houses and everything that's going on. And we just want to be a getaway,
an outlet
for you. Absolutely. Somewhere where you can just tap out of real life and just check into LSU football preparation and six-pack of winners from Ben Mintz, and New Orleans Saints now opening up their regular season in Jacksonville because of what Hurricane Ida has done to their facilities down there in Metairie and to the Caesars Palace Superdome. But there is sports on the horizon, and sports are such a beautiful thing for this time in people's lives, where there is devastation, there is sadness, there's depression, there's just not a lot of good news, right?
I mean, you heard it
sports.
from Chef. Like, you get that felt very visceral. That felt
Yes.
very real to hear his perspective of it, because we haven't talked to anybody from that, the place where it was absolutely ravaged. Like, Baton Rouge got hit, but you could tell that where he was and further down south, it was, he said it's the worst hurricane he's ever ridden out. And that's somebody that knows what Louisiana weather is and what Louisiana, the perspective of hurricanes at this time of year. And for him to say that means just how catastrophic it has been for some people. And, I mean, I think the biggest takeaway was having the people let his dad cut the line. Like, they understand what everybody's going through. Like, I may be down bad, but this is a terrible situation. He's in. He's gotten a wreck. He needs gas. He's an 80-year-old man. Like, can you let my dad in? They're like, absolutely. Like, don't say anything more. I think that's a testament to Louisiana and just going through this kind of stuff. It's unbelievable, the resiliency that this state has.
Please stay on with us and continue to like, share, and comment on the posts. That will put it in front of more eyeballs, and we appreciate that very much as you find us here. Give me a couple of minutes. We'll be back, and then we'll close it out here on this Thursday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, brought to you daily by Go Chevrolet. Remember, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Papa Earl's, the fine spice, originating right down here in South Louisiana by our guy Mark Pop Norman. Developed it back in 2018 and won Amazon's Newcomer of the Year in 2019. They pride themselves in having 30% less salt and sodium than the leading brands at the same price point. You can find them locally. Look for Papa Earl's at Rouse's, Calandro's, Mathern's, High Neighbor, and more. True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU, bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU, bluewater.com. Abear's Specialty Meats, home to the finest boudin in South Louisiana. 2 spots right here in Baton Rouge and out in Prairieville. Stop in and see them in the Dutchtown Shopping Center on Highway 73 or right here in Baton Rouge on Jefferson Highway. Online, abearsmarkets.com, and they're all over social media. You can find them on Facebook. You can find them on Instagram. Abear's combines perfect seasoning with that authentic Cajun flavor. Find out for yourself. Baton Rouge on Jefferson Highway and in Prairieville on Highway 73. abearsmarkets.com. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show live on this Thursday.
Still trying to move some things around, get comfortable with the new UDL for now.
It is it's a travel day here, which we're looking forward to getting out to Los Angeles this afternoon. We'll be touching back and touching base back with the UDL and with the Jordy Culotta Show. We'll be piping into what's going on out in Los Angeles. One of the stories that we didn't have a chance to talk about this week, there's been a lot of stuff happening in and around the world of sports. Nothing more just
mind-numbing.
Funny?
Yeah,
I mean,
funny.
I guess it is, at the end of it, it is kind of just a funny story, is the Bishop Sycamore high school football team that seemingly duped ESPN. I don't know if you've seen this story, but Bishop Sycamore, they are, or was they supposed?
The penal league.
Charter school, yeah, right. A charter
The longest
school
yard.
out of Ohio played IMG Academy over the weekend, and turns out that Bishop Sycamore is, I mean, it's a catfish.
They're old men.
I mean, it's a catfish of a football team. They've got junior college players on the sidelines. They've got kids switching helmets in between plays to go into the game. Their head coach, Roy Johnson, is a felon, a guy with a rap sheet.
Current arrest warrant out for him, and he wants to go on national television.
And this is something that they have been doing for the last couple of years, where they've been duping these big-time games where, you know, Johnson would call up the IMG academies of the world. And I know that there's only one IMG, but people that play, you know, the same type of teams that play in that realm, these big national schedule type high school football teams. And Tyron Jackson has, I'm trying to find the Tyron Jackson is the new coach for Bishop Sycamore. The old coach, this guy, Roy Johnson, is just a beauty.
Piece of work.
I mean, this guy is a beauty. He's got a warrant out for his arrest. He hasn't paid anybody. He hasn't paid the busing, transportation systems that have helped his team get to from games. He has not paid the helmet manufacturer for offering up new equipment. He hasn't paid anybody. He just puts all this money in his pocket.
Isn't he wanted for? Isn't that what he's wanted for?
Yeah.
Also, is embezzlement, like fraud?
Yeah, fraud and not just like not paying his bills.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
and so how does he get away with this for this long and continue to be like? Is that not unbelievable that we're just hearing about this? This guy has been running a boondoggle, like what a gambit to be able to pull off, to the point where he was comfortable going on national television multiple times and not pay anybody. He's like, oh, don't worry about it. We'll get the check. You know, check's gonna clear. Seems like it's not. You know. And then this guy, he just keeps going on TV and they get blown out 50-0.
That's what I don't get.
What's the point?
How are they so bad? Like, I mean, they've got junior college players, and I know IMG Academy is IMG Academy, but I mean, 58-0?
Well, don't you think that if you were actually a JUCO player or somebody that was pretty good, you'd be like, well, this is bullshit. I'm not going to play for some high school. Like, I'm not going to go play high school football. So they're getting the, like, essentially what people would want to, these people want to play flag football just a little bit more. Like, they're getting the guys that are like, I can still play. It's the ultimate, this is Twitter personified. These are people that are, like, keyboard warriors that can say, oh, I played this, I did this. And they go out and play high school kids and get slaughtered. They're playing, I mean, like you said, IMG Academy is IMG Academy. Those are 5 stars. There's a bunch of NFL guys out there. But to think that you could even go out there and play with these kids is unbelievable. They're 30 years old.
It's wild.
It's a wild
and
move.
the story just keeps getting more.
It's exposed now.
It is.
It's a documentary.
It is a documentary. It is an absolute. And it's a multi-series documentary. I mean, it's not just one. It's not just one documentary about the game against IMG, the 58-0 loss. I mean, 58-0 is almost like the least funny thing about the story. Like, I mean, like it's an onion.
It's an onion.
It is.
This is the Hard Knocks I wanted to watch. I need this as Hard Knocks. I need to follow this team around for the entire season or the entire 2 years or 3 years they've been doing this and just get the background. Did you see the video of them saying, if you don't want to if you don't want to kill, then don't come out here, and you get slaughtered by 60. It's like, what are we doing? We're trading helmets. We don't have special teams out there. We don't know what we're doing. We're not practicing. They're just out there to play one game, and they played 2 games in 3 days.
It is one of the more wilder stories that you will ever read.
This is unbelievable.
With Bishop Sycamore, just really much a frauded high school football program trying to collect on a national schedule, and the head coach is a wanted felon with a rap sheet and puts himself on national television and expects not to get caught. I mean, I don't know how arrogant or just dumb, just stupid. But it's a wild story. I listened to Levitard yesterday, who their boss over at
Skipper
is John Skipper at Meadowlark Media is running the place, and Skipper was the longtime president of ESPN, who has dealt with these types of negotiations and kind of gave some background to how this gets done, how you get if you're ESPN, and really they outsource these types of games, right? I mean, when you're talking about what ESPN is filling as far as programming goes, I mean, they're filling thousands of hours a week of programming, live programming. You got to have live programming in every sense. It is not outside of the realm of possibility for every ESPN executive to know what is running at the exact time that it is going on. So high school football games, they usually contract out to a third-party production company like Paragon Production, which this company is, where Paragon does a lot of the legwork for ESPN. They put the game together. They check the relevancy. They make sure that all these players have prospects that are being recruited. They make sure it's a made-for-television type event. And by all accounts, I mean, this has been solid programming for ESPN, right? Like over the years, you've enjoyed watching some of these high school matchups that feature some of these big-time recruits on ESPN, and this one just kind of slipped through the crack. I mean, you know, as Skipper said, I mean, it's humorous. It's funny because nobody got hurt. And you really just, you know, your stance is kind of like, from ESPN, this will never happen again. I mean, you just have to have somebody overseeing these types of third-party production companies and making sure that all this stuff is legit.
Well, yeah, it just makes you wonder how many desks did this come across where they're like, oh, no, this is good. We've heard of this team. There's no vetting. Like, it can happen. It's obvious that it can happen. But the amount of – you would think that somebody would just Google Bishop Gorman.
Right.
Or, I mean, Bishop Sycamore and be like, okay, let's watch some of these games. You would think that would fall on somebody's desk at some point to where you would get there and be like, is this team for real? Like, what's going on here with the – because they haven't – I would imagine they haven't won very many games. I don't know a lot about them because this is the first time it's come to light. But it's just such a bizarre scenario that anybody would even think to put this together, which is how I think it slips through the cracks, because who would think to do this? Who would be like, you know what we can do is put together a bunch of 25-year-olds and 30-year-olds and play a high school football schedule, because the national scene is so massive now. And a lot of it does fall on these teams need a game to play. Like when you look at IMGs, you look at Matter Day, you look at the team from Baltimore. Who am I thinking of?
Saint Fred. Yes, I know you're talking about.
Yeah, the Jordan Tolles went to.
Black and gold team.
Yes. They couldn't. They got kicked out of their own.
Bosco.
They got kicked out of their own league. They got kicked out of playing Maryland football. They couldn't play in their district, so they're trying to play a national schedule every week. And so this is how a Bishop Sycamore can happen when they're like, I'll play you. And it's like, okay, what's the number? All right, we'll drive down there. We'll bus down there. We'll fly over there. So this is how it happens, but it's just unbelievable that you get out there and you're like, are these teams trading helmets? Are they, like, are these guys for real over there? There's 22 players.
St. Francis Academy.
St. Francis, which are studs. But it's just, that's how it happens, I'd imagine. It's a national schedule where you get to the point where we'll play anybody because nobody wants to play us.
Speaking of looking for a game that has been put together midweek might be one of the must-watch games of the season, as Madison Prep, Quincy Wiggins, and the Chargers are now going to square off against Walker Howard and St. Thomas More on Friday night. The two reigning state champions will collide this Friday night in Lafayette. St. Thomas More has won 2 straight Division II titles, while Madison Prep is the defending state champ last season in Class 3A. Madison Prep was slated to play Edna Carr. St. Thomas More was scheduled to face Brother Martin. Both of those games, obviously, were affected due to Hurricane Ida, which left St. Thomas More and Madison Prep both looking for Friday night opponents. They agreed to play on Tuesday, and so Quincy Wiggins and the Chargers will now travel to Lafayette for a Friday night showdown between the two best prospects in the state of Louisiana in the class of 2022's recruiting cycle. On LSU's board right now, the number 1 player and 1A player are Walker Howard and Quincy Wiggins. Put their names in a hat, shuffle them around. You pick Wiggins first. Howard will be 1A. If you went back and did it again and you picked Howard, Wiggins will be 1A. You're talking about the quarterback and defensive end, the premier players at their position in Louisiana high school football, squaring off on Friday night. What a treat for the high school faithful here in the state. The Jordy Culotta Show will be down there. Jack's going to take the camera again and go follow and some of the state's biggest matchup. We were thinking about going to watch Carr and Madison Prep until that game got washed, and now it's going to be St. Thomas More and Madison Prep squaring off on Friday night. So what an absolute treat for high school football fans here in the state of Louisiana, down here in the southern part of the state, as Howard and Wiggins will square off on Friday night. This will be fascinating. This is going to be a great high school football game.
Any concern for, I don't want to say it, but injury of Quincy and Walker?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, because this is probably, like you said, 1A versus 1B. It seems like these are two of the most important players on LSU's board going against each other. And maybe the bigger story might be a little meet-up after.
Yeah.
Can we get Walker Howard to get Quincy on the train a little bit, little jersey swap, something like that? Just get the ball rolling. Like, look, come on. Because I would imagine Walker's in the boat. Walker's coming.
Yeah,
LSU.
Walker's a done deal.
So I would imagine, and Quincy is still up in the air, so I'd imagine that this is an opportunity maybe for Walker to say, look, if I show out, you see how good we can be if we come here together. You're the best player in the state. I'm one of the best players in the state. Let's line this thing up and go together. Why would we not want to, be on the same squad when we're going against each other? Let's not do this for 4 years. Let's do it together for 3 years.
No, it's going to be it'll be interesting to see how they handle this recruiting, because Howard seems to be the leader of the class, and Wiggins seems to be the most wanted by the class. So this is a good thing for LSU, for these two to square
How many
off.
Scouts will be there?
Gosh.
Just you just in the whole class. Who has to stay behind now? Who was going to UCLA and now they're like, wait, you have to stay behind to recruit.
Yeah,
because
we just have to go show face.
Right, you have to be there. Like Coach O would be at this game if there wasn't. Right? Would you imagine if there wasn't LSU playing this week or
I'd
an away
imagine.
game?
I just don't know what the I don't know what the rules are for head coaches on their visits.
Well, not even head coaches, but just coaches.
But no,
in general.
LSU for
Yes.
sure, absolutely. Yeah, I mean everybody. Okay.
Should we
Live stream?
live stream?
Yes.
From
Saturday, you gonna do it from here?
I think we're gonna do it from here.
Okay.
Saturday, if you get power, if the UDL gets power back, we could do it from there. But if not, me, Jack, Noah, little live stream, may throw Sean in the mix, and just to give you like a watch party gambit to where you're, if you want to tune in, watch the game with us, will be some live visceral reaction to what LSU UCLA is going on. So if we want to do that, I am more than capable of throwing the TV in here and getting that thing done.
Yes, and looking forward to it. I will have a report for you from LA this afternoon when we land. I'll be putting up some video. Make sure you're following us on social media. We will be checking in tomorrow with the show. We will be out there for the game on Saturday, so very much looking forward to it.
You after the game.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Get a little live report.
100%.
Excellent. Okay,
Yes.
maybe a little halftime.
Yeah, absolutely.
See what's going on. That would be fun. It'll be
Yes,
fun.
yes.
Okay, hell yeah.
All right, enjoy your Thursday. Thank you again for finding us. Make sure and like and share and comment on everything that's going on. We will be, next time you hear from me, I'll be in Los Angeles getting you ready for UCLA LSU. I hope everybody out there is getting back to a safer quality of life. That was tough to talk to
That was-
Chef Jean-Paul
made it
Bourgeois
very
this
real
morning.
again.
You could hear how close that devastation is to us in the chef's voice in what they're dealing with this morning down there in Thibodaux, Louisiana. If you're traveling today, safe travels to you. If you're out in LA, we'll be with you and be out there in a couple of hours.
Official score prediction from you? Do you do that?
I don't really do score. I think LSU wins by 10, somewhere around there.
All right.
I don't know. But, I mean, if you want to score at 38-27, somewhere around there.
That's what I'm saying. How close do you
what
think
I mean?
it
I think
is?
it's a second half game.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I think that the game is still being pressed in the second half. Now, ultimately, I think LSU is the better team and probably looks like that all day. You know what I mean? But it's the first week.
What's if you could have one thing that you're looking for while you're watching the game, the people that that your mindset will be on in terms of LSU UCLA?
I want a second wide receiver to step up. I want a second playmaker to step up. I'm watching the offensive line, obviously, just to see who's the sixth off the bench, how the first five really play together, how deep they think they are. If they get in trouble on the road, who are they going to put in? I want to see who that sixth guy is off the bench to come in and play. I want to see who the second playmaker is at wide receiver now with Malik Neighbors being down. Who's the guy that gets an opportunity there? Kickoff return, punt return, how they handle that.
A lot of questions it feels like are going to be answered in week one, which is crazy because I don't know. I feel like there's so much up in the air with LSU football this year that it's not. When you think about LSU Oregon, it felt like LSU knew they had a good team. They were preseason ranked top 5. They were, you felt like they were good. This feels like this could go either way almost at this point. It feels like we're going to probably overreact if LSU plays well, or if LSU loses, it's going to be an overreaction. But it seems like there's a lot riding on this game because of how last year went and everything going into it. The new starting quarterback. You don't really have an answer at running back right now. You don't have a second playmaker at wide receiver. The defense was terrible last year. You have a lot of questions that need to be answered, and it'll be interesting to see what it looks like. It's just such a tipping point, it seems like, for LSU football.
Yeah, it's going to be a great opening weekend for college football. LSU football is going to be one of the teams that's going to play front and center. Enjoy your Thursday. We're back with you tomorrow morning. I'll be back with you in studio on Monday. We're heading out to California for the weekend. Everybody enjoy it. We'll be back with you. Go Chevrolet brings the Jordy Culotta Show to you every day.
So jealous.